Hmm. Good evening and salutations, our General Hospital fans. So, as the title suggests, General Hospital's evening and salutations. General Hospital's trial of Drew Cain. Now, I'm not doing this by myself. I am with the one, the only GH After Show with Dion Gabriel. Dion, uh, sorry if I use your actual name, but that was an accident.
It's all good. You can call me Dion Gabriel. You can call me Dion. GH After Show doesn't matter.
Okay. So how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. It's been a relaxing weekend. I've just been kind of chilling and can't complain. How about you?
I'm good. I got out of work, so that's always a good thing.
Always, always.
Yeah. So, for people that don't get the inside joke, sometimes on on Gabriel's channel, I always come in there and I always sit there and say that Drew Kane is a good man and da 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 da, just to stir up the pot. Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
GH has a different um interpretation. So you want to share your thoughts? I got a surprise too, by the way.
Well, actually, I want to hear yours first because you keep saying it, but I've not had a chance to see what you say on here about Drew typically. So I'm curious about you because you already know what I think, and I feel like people
Yeah.
that are probably watching probably know as well. But I'm yeah, like walk me through this. Walk me through this.
Here's the thing. Okay, let's just be honest. I mean, Drew has done some very scumbag stuff. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, he definitely has. But I don't think he's the worst. And I think when people come at him, they done stuff too. Like Nina has stolen a baby. Carly has sat there and shot somebody in the head. You know, Sonny and Jason, they got their own sins or people 6 feet under or whatever, right?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna sit there and say, sometimes I joke around like, oh, Drew's a good man. I don't think he's the worst. Like, he's done some stuff, obviously.
yeah.
But is he the worst? That's really the question.
I mean, like no, he's not. For sure, he's not. It's just I think for me, it's just like how jarring it's been like watching this sort of progress of it because like I'm trying to think back and like the first thing I can kind of remember him doing that was kind of like what is going on with him was he wanted revenge on Nina for the SEC thing. And even Carly was like, "What's going on with you? Like what like why are you so like hell bent on getting revenge on her? It's all this stuff." And it kind of just spiraled from there and during that time it felt like they were trying to write a story there. Like something is up with him that's making him spiral this way. And then they never really addressed it. And I'm sure part of that is because of how many like writers we went through in that one like that one period of time, that 1 year of like three different writer swaps. And it's like
Hmm.
no one really knew what the story was, and then it was kind of dropped, but then like brought back up. It's been a strange ride, and I think it's just a frustrating way. Like for me, it's frustrating because it's like, where are they trying to go with this? Why are they making him do all these shady things? Why is he suddenly this bad guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember when he came on, Cameron came on, people said that he was boring. It's like, oh, he's not really doing much. He's kind of just like whatever. And of course, he still had the fact that he had big shoes to fill. He had Billy's shoes
Billy.
to fill. So obviously there was going to be a certain level of pushback, right? And the same thing with Willow. People have sat there and said that, oh, well, Willow was boring when she got with Michael and everything, right? So
Yeah.
she went from being boring. Cameron's version of Drew went from being boring to being hated. And I guess it's one of those things where it's like we got to find a way to spice them up a little bit, you know. Um, I don't know if that was the way to go about it. I'm just sitting there saying like I felt like that's what they started to do, you know.
And that's fair, but it's just like it's what I find that GH tends to do is they make it so, but they don't kind of walk us through how they got there. You know what I mean? Like they're just like, okay, suddenly we're gonna have a Willow and Drew affair, and it was like, okay, but she's seen him like an uncle this whole time. like it's like stuff like that. Like if it seemed natural, I probably wouldn't have been as bothered by it. But because it was so like what, and to be fair, like a lot of the things that were happening during that time on the show were making me do say the same things. Like when Ava was suddenly being bad again, but like really bad, and then like I don't know, just certain things that were going on. It was just a lot of head scratching for me, and it just kind of feels like this is kind of like the thing that stuck because everything else kind of mostly got reversed in a way that kind of salvaged like character continuity. But with Drew and Willow, it was kind of just like the last thing, and they haven't really been able to sort of reverse it or recover it, and they're just kind of going all in. And I think that's my issue because like yeah, all the characters are garbage. Like they do garbage things, you know what I mean? But it's just like because it's just so you know I don't know. It's just all in with, especially Drew. Yeah, with Willow too, because I don't know. For me, Willow's always been sort of like a weird character for me as well, in the sense that I liked her with Chase back in the day, and she ended up with Michael. I was never a fan of Michael and Willow, and I think that goes to or stems from just me not being a Michael fan, because I find that anytime he's with someone, it like it just ruins the other character. Like they just become boring. It happened with Sasha. Sasha got more interesting as soon as she broke up with him. And Willow, I mean, yeah, I guess she's more interesting, but it's just so out of character. And also like because he's been manipulating her and like not just with like what he did recently with you know,
The
making
whole
sure that
call
girl at
thing,
the
yeah.
desk like made sure that she didn't see him, but also from the jump because Nina convinced him to make Willow see her in a better light just so he can get in with that governor guy. So it's like I don't know, but like because of Willow's history and being in a cult and being manipulated by Shiloh, like you'd think that she'd be able to spot this a bit better. So you'd think that Willow would be smarter even like long before the relationship, before like when the stuff with being manipulated into liking Nina kind of went down. And I
Yeah.
don't know, and like the fact that no one really seen the Nina and Drew sort of affair coming, and like that being random as well is just a lot of just like bad writing, which just makes me go even harder on Drew. It really comes down to the writing team and how they've handled the sort of spiral. And I felt the same way with Nicholas too, because Nicholas was a good character that they just decided one day would be bad, and he's again another character that never really got to recover from that. So I don't know. That's my take on just my why I don't really like the character.
That makes sense. That makes sense. What's good, Nikisha? What's good, Allison? What's good, Queen of the South? Blackmon, Taiwan, Lashanta. And just shout out to Nikisha because she also has her own YouTube channel as well.
Hey,
So,
hey,
she be doing reviews and stuff like that, General Hospital, Beyond the Gates. So definitely subscribe to Nikisha's channel. She is what I like to call the Alexis Davis of my chat. So always appreciate you. Um,
nice.
yeah, but here's the thing. I get it. I guess it's more of the jarring. It's like it's not so much that they changed him. It's just like it, you know what it is. It seems like it's more up into interpretation. So like a lot of people sat there and said that he changed when he got out of jail. When he got beat up and everything like that, it was like PTSD and just not dealing with that psychological trauma of all that. And then he just came out and he was a little bit different. And I think some characters actually said something like that, like, yo, what's going on with him? And I
They
think
did,
that,
they did.
of
Yeah,
course
like
makes it cool.
that's the whole thing with it is that they really seem to be like making a story about out of it, and then it just kind of got dropped, and then like it came back with like a vengeance. But no one's like, I don't know. No one's like, do you need therapy? Like, what's going on with you? Like, no one's actually had that conversation with him, and it's weird.
Now, I think I can do this right on here. So I got a surprise
All right.
and I put it in my member circle. but I'll put it here too. And play.
Me trying to scroll down on my phone here.
So I got a surprise from you, for you in the chat, and just take a listen.
What's going on with your character Drew in General Hospital? What's going on with your character Drew in General Hospital?
So yeah, General Hospital. I mean, he's not a great guy right now.
They're the funnest ones to play.
He has turned like spoiled milk.
But you know what, you guys? The only time that I've ever played a character that's been disliked this severely on soap operas in my life, and it's been a stretch, like
Yes.
almost 30 years.
That's right.
Was when my character Ryan tried to break up Haley.
Oh.
Do you remember that? Do you remember back in the day?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. Tell me what you remember.
He's sitting right there. I had a bus pull over on Columbus Avenue, and the bus driver got off yelling at me, saying, "Stay away from Haley." I had people hating me. I'm like, I'm a good guy.
Oh man.
Yeah. So he's definitely feeling it. You heard about the grocery incident, right?
Yeah. Like I've seen and that's I always feel bad for like actors that play characters that are disliked because there's some people that just cannot distinguish like actor versus character, and and it's like you're watching a TV show. What are you doing? Like I don't know. I just feel bad for actors. I remember the actor who played Diego Alcazar um, was confronted by a fan in like a restaurant, and some girl like freaked out and said, "Why did you murder Georgie?" And then like everyone around them had no context, and he just had to deal
Mhm.
with that situation. And it's like, man, I don't know. Some people should just not be allowed to watch TV, I think.
It's just, the thing is, like, I get it. You grow with these characters. Like, this is the only genre in general that you can literally watch a character grow up and age
Yeah,
with you. Like, do you understand just how surreal that is? But like, there's a certain psychological element to it, and I get that part, but it's people like that that takes it way beyond to the point where it's like this is a job for them. Like y'all kind of wilding out. Um, and just to give a little
exactly.
backstory, whatever, for people who may, I'm assuming at this point people know who you are, who your channel is, and everything like that. But you've been on the platform for quite a while, right? Like
Long
11
time,
years,
yeah.
I'm saying 11 years.
I think so, yeah. Like I think I started doing like GH related content, I think in 2016. It was right when Patrick and Robin were leaving the show together. Is when I started.
Wow.
Yeah.
2011. And thank you, Ron. I appreciate that. Thank you for letting the chat know that I can't separate. Ron is my jester of the chat, so I just kind of take what he says in a comedic way. I'll sit there and say,
Fair.
but yeah, you've been doing it for a while, and how
Yeah,
has it been for you? How has it been for you? Just this whole YouTube thing, because I know YouTube is not just your only thing, and you have other stuff, but like, how has the YouTube stuff been for you, though?
it's been good. Like I mean, if we go like way back, I had a channel called Envia01 where I literally just uploaded GH episodes on YouTube. Um back when we could and get away with it.
Mhm.
And I started my own YouTube channel not with any GH related content. I was just kind of doing random skits and seeing what sticks. And I had an American Horror Story show first,
Yeah, I remember that.
and yeah, I was always in like the GH Tumblr sort of fandom, and I mentioned that I used to have a channel that I uploaded GH things, and I was like, now I have this YouTube channel. Would you guys be interested if I did like a YouTube show for GH? And everyone was like, hell yes. And I was like, all right. And so I did it, and it's been interesting because it wasn't always live. I would edit videos first and just kind of do like short, quick, witty recaps and just my thoughts on certain things. Not even like with the episodes at first, but just like certain characters, opinions on like the state of the show, just various things. And um, then like the recap every Sunday I did, also not live. But after that, it kind of went to um, I don't know, being harder to just edit things together, and the less time I had, the harder it got. And then of course 2020 hit, and the episode stopped, and I started doing reactions to old episodes because it wasn't really a thing on here at all for soaps, like reacting to soap episodes.
Yeah.
And I was gonna like put that to an end once GH came back, and everyone's like, no, like keep doing it. So I was like, all right. And then eventually it turned into live, and then the recap turned into live as well. And I've just stuck with that, and it's been fun because you get to know your chat a lot better, for one, because you can have a chat when it premieres, but like you're not really interacting with them beyond typing back to them. And so it just felt like a more interactive experience, and it's been fun. And it's the channel's gained a lot of steam from that, and it's I don't know, it's exciting. Plus, I've gotten to talk to you, talk to James Lot Jr., and just like it's been a fun ride. Can't complain.
And we have so many other new people that's coming up as well. Like I said, you have
Exactly.
Keisha, you have Cat Lady. Um, I know I'm missing some people, and they're probably going to be pissed off at me. Um, but you have so many new channels and stuff like that that's coming up that want to sit there. There's somebody else, and I'm gonna probably kick myself later on. But you have so many new channels that are sitting there doing their own thing, and it's just like, how do you feel about that? Like some of the people that's coming up, and you see some of the new channels and stuff like that.
I
Thank you,
do.
Kyrie's. There we go, Kyrie's Clark. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, no, I love it personally because it felt like, even just in soaps in general, it wasn't really much of a thing to have too many people talking about soaps on YouTube for a while. Like I feel like James sort of pioneered that with like the AfterBuzz TV stuff. I did it probably around the same time, I think, or like around the same time, because I know I hopped on his show just as like a fan calling in, and talked to original Jordan on his show. Asked
mm,
her some questions. But yeah, it's I like it because it kind of gives people options. We all sort of have our own ways of doing our shows, and like I don't feel like it's a competition because everyone kind of has their own thing. And it's like, well, if you don't like how I do things, like there's this option, this option, this option. Before it's like, well, there's these other three, and now it's like there's a bunch. So it's like, and it gives people online more of a place to talk about GH, because yeah, GH has their official YouTube channel, but it's like, you're just in the comments commenting on the episode, whereas we're actually all talking about the show, giving our own opinions, letting our chats chime in on theirs as well. It's nice. It's more interaction. It's like the new age message boards, which yeah, they're still a thing, but it's just more fun because like it's like live reactions, live response, and I think it's exciting for GH fans as well as us who do these kind of things here, to just really enjoy.
yes, that's very true. Read Nikisha's comment, unless you want to read it.
Oh yeah, Nikisha, you said that's why I love this group. Everyone is so supportive of one another. It's so inspiring and encouraging. Exactly. Yeah. It's been nothing but support, and I love that for like anyone that wants to do this, because I feel like people kind of think that it's like a really laid back thing. But we're having to like really focus on the show and the characters and remember like all the plots. How you do all the soaps, I don't even freaking know, man. I can barely keep up with GH as it is. I'm like, and you're here like daily doing stuff. I'm like, I'm once a week. Takes me like several hours to put together my notes and script, and I'm just like, man.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot, but it's fun. And
It is.
I'm gonna be honest. Listen, I started doing GH, and then people was like, "Oh, you should do dates," and then I started doing the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then like I still do GH. I'm always gonna do GH. I've been watching General Hospital since high school, so that's not going away.
Yeah.
But there's just times where GH can be very toxic. And it's
Mm,
nice to sit there and talk about some of the other shows and not just be like, because after a while it's like certain comments you're just like, mm-hmm, yep,
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that like 17 times today. That's amazing. So it's nice to sit there and kind of switch it up a little bit, and
Yeah.
do it like that.
Yeah. No, and I get that totally. I'm like, I mean, I feel like there's only been two times where I've had to take a step back from GH, and one of the times was like I think Ron Carlivati's final year of writing. I had to just stop because I was just it was again a thing where the characters were being written out of character. Nothing made sense. They kind of made Elizabeth a pariah. Nicholas was becoming bad. There was just like all this stuff that didn't make sense and it felt like fan fictiony. And the other time was I can't remember what year it was, but I think it just got so boring and repetitive that I was just over it. So I don't know. Like it's GH needs to learn to balance things out. And I feel like, I feel like the current writers, they're not doing a terrible job. I think that I'm still here, I'm still
Mhm.
watching and for the most part enjoying. Yeah, there's issues with it, but I feel like, you know, if there isn't, then something is probably, I don't know, something's probably amiss somewhere. I don't
Yeah.
know. You can't please everyone with any TV show, I think. So, yeah.
No, absolutely, and like I said, I agree with that. And when I sit there and say like take a step, I don't mean like it's nice to sit there and when I do my live streams and balance it out with talking about other shows besides General Hospital. Because like I said, for the most part, it's been good. And there's just times where it's like people start complaining about it, and it's just like, all right, so yeah, we're gonna be sitting here talking about days today as well, because it's just like it just starts to get a little too negative, and I like to be a little more chill. And I get it. Sometimes we all sit there and bitch and complain, but
Which
it
is
does
fair,
get
which
to
is
a
totally
certain
fair.
point where it's like, ugh. Um, hmm. What motivates you to like do YouTube and like the General Hospital and stuff like that? What motivates you to keep doing this sometimes? Because I know there's some days where you're not like kind of had a shitty day from work or whatever, but like what kind of motivates you? Be like, you know what? Let's do this.
For the most part, it's just it's the chat, honestly, because I mean, for me, especially during 2020, when we were all sort of like our show's gone, having like an outlet to kind of continue GH content in some kind of way, really like kind of got I think all of us closer into which led into the live chats, like for actual lives. And I've had people message me and be like, you're like the bright spot of my day sometimes, and like that's the kind of thing that keeps me going, because like, hey, if I can be that bright spot even when I'm having the shittiest of days, like I'll come up and do it. And of course there are days where I have my bad days, and if I'm going through something, I'll be honest, I'll make a note on my channel and be like, hey, I gotta sit this one out, going through some stuff, we'll rekindle on this day, kind of thing. And I think generally the chat accepts it and is okay with it. Um, and and going back on the point of there's so many other channels now. There's so many other channels now, so I feel less bad about it. Um, but again, I don't know. I don't know. I don't do it too often. I have to really be going through it, and or just be really sick to not to not do a live
Yeah,
stream. Because Sunday's like the one day where I've kind of always set off the time to do this. I don't get scheduled for work on Sundays. The only time I might skip a Sunday if I'm not sick or not going through something is if I was hired to film a band, or I'm going out to support my friends that are doing shows, and we talk about in the chat like my friends' bands, and we'll have those conversations usually on like a hangout live stream on a Wednesday if we're not like reacting to something classic. We're like talking about random things, GH as well, but like we'll go into real life stuff, and I'll kind of give them updates on my band or my friends' bands, and just what we're up to, because it's such a big part of my life that it does spill over on this sometimes. And even when I was putting together my first show with my band, I took I think almost like a month off just to buckle down for rehearsals, and they were very very respectful of that. And because I was it was a scary time. It was like this is the first time I'm doing this with a band. I have to put my trust in them that they're going to do their part, and they have to trust me to be ready to sort of bring my wacky stuff to the stage and entertain, the audience, and it was a crazy time, but worth it though. Worth it though.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. If you could, okay, because I know that you do the GA stuff and you also do the music stuff on your channel. If you had to add something, add any other type of content on your channel, what would it be? And that's
Oh
besides
man.
the music and besides the soap stuff.
Well, so something that I've been sort of contemplating doing again. I used to do a lot of video blogs where I would go, just do like have random adventures like in my town and like check out new festivals and just whatever I could get myself into, I would do. I've even thrown myself out of a plane and skydived, like things like that.
Nice.
I kind of want to get back into that again a little bit. Um, and also something I've been contemplating is um, having like a music based series on YouTube as well. It might be on a separate channel, just because at this point I see so many bands like every week now. So I kind of want to put some, I don't know, some real good content out for bands that's different from what I usually do on like Instagram, where I'm just posting their concert clips and just really focusing on like the brilliance of the music scene in my town because it's so large. There's like thousands of bands in this one city alone, and like it's nice to film their concerts, but um, to make content that gives more information about the bands and where they can find them and what they're all about, like just and maybe even like doing interviews and things like that. Angel, you're saying you want to do a band vlog. I would love that too. My bass player does that with his band, his other band, sorry. And it's it's fun, and I even told them like, like you guys make me want to do this again with like my own stuff. And so that's somewhat in the works as well. But we're like slowly getting back into like, you know, getting back together as the band because we all still hang out, obviously. But I've just been writing songs, and now it's a matter of like getting in the space together and rehearsing the new songs. We have a new guitarist, so getting him comfortable with all the new stuff and the old stuff, and I want to capture that because it feels like it's a new chapter. So it feels like a good time to start doing band focused content because I posted clips from my shows, but like it's not me filming, so it's like hard to get like decent footage of my shows as well. My mom kind of sucks at filming, so I like can't rely on her when she shows up. And
Mm.
obviously the people that show up to my shows, they'll like tag me, but you can only do so much because some of it's like vertical, some of it's horizontal. It's hard to kind of put that all together, but yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I want to do. I've also always gone back and forth in doing a show for 911, the ABC primetime show,
Yes.
and
That used to be on Fox.
yeah, that's like the other show that I watch religiously. Like, there's not an episode that I've missed from the beginning, but it's also like, do I do that or do I have this show be for me and just enjoy it as like a fan?
Because and that's the thing, as you know, it's different when you're just watching a show,
Yeah,
from a fan's point, as opposed to you watching it and also kind of being a little more critical. Because let's be
exactly.
honest, if you're just watching a show, there's a lot of things you could be like, yeah, I don't really care about this or that. When you sit there and watch it from, a content creator's point, you got to be a little more balanced, or at least I try to be a little more balanced. That's why when I came on here, he was like, "So what do you like about?" It was like, "Why do you think that Drew's a good man?" I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna try to sit there and say he's a good man. I would just, you know what I'm saying? Like as a fan, I would just, I don't know, BS my way through it. But I can't sit there and have a conversation and be like, oh, I think he's a good man.
Yeah,
No, but I don't think he's a devil either. You know,
yeah,
so
makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, it's but yeah, it is hard to like sit there because obviously there's going to be things that neither of us like about the show, but we have to talk about it because it happened, and it's like there will be times where I'll be like, well, this happened. I don't have much to say about it, but like, yeah, that was a thing. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I even like, the storylines that I just can't stand, I'll sit there and like give my thoughts on it and say where it might be going, my theories and whatnot. Because again, I'm a spoiler free guy. I don't watch spoilers unless it has something to do with the casting. If someone is leaving or coming back, that is like the spoiler I will go out of my way to read. Um, just to kind of think about theories of how they will make their exit or their entrance and what character they might be playing and things like that. But yeah, it is a lot harder to sort of like have to put in the effort to give some kind of opinion on the thing that you might not be that interested in, but like there's gonna be people in your chat that want to talk about it. So it's like, just do it,
Yeah.
type it
Just like
out.
just get it out, just get it out the way.
Exactly.
Um, no, but I get it though. Now what is well, there's two questions I do want to ask you, but one of the questions is one of my subscribers named Tommy is thinking about starting his own YouTube channel, soap channel, and stuff like that. But he's a little nervous about it. So what kind of advice would you sit there and give him?
Well, I would say don't try to impress anyone of what you think they want to see. Like, be try to be yourself in terms of like what you enjoy about the show, how you would kind of talk about the show if you were just hanging out with your friends that watch the show, if you have like friends that watch GH as well. That's the one thing with me is like I only know my family that watches the show. So this is like another fun way to kind of have a conversation that's engaging with other people that love the show as much as you do. But yeah, like honestly, um, I don't know if you're planning on doing it like live or if you're planning on doing it as like an upload. I'd say, like me, start with uploads if you want, because live is like it can be terrifying because it's easy when you are shooting something not live, and if you mess up what you wanted to say or you can't get your point across, um, it's awkward, and you have at least every take you can continue to do, um, and then kind of maybe ease your way into the lives. And I think something that helps me is I literally will write a script. I deviate from it obviously and kind of like obviously have the chat to interact with, and sometimes they want to start with one thing or the other. Um, but having like being prepared and having your notes in front of you is like a great way to sort of make it more seamless.
Yeah.
Actually, even today, I think Angel was like, she wanted us to do like, a live for both of us. So yeah, you got your notes too. But yeah, live for both of us, on both channels. And I was like, see, if we
How would
talked
that
about
even
this
work?
like a few days before, then maybe. But I was like, but I like just did like, you know, hours of, typing my own script. So it's like we got to pre-plan if we're gonna do that like on a day, and I'm
Yeah,
down
I
to
mean,
for sure.
yeah, yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, like if we were
Yeah,
to do
no,
like a
no, no
recap
appreciate.
kind of thing together, I'd be like, well, we gotta like plan it out together. Whereas this is more
That'd
like
be
off the
so
cuff
fun
talking
though.
about Drew. We had like a theme, so it's more
Yes,
easy to
but
just
that
sort
would
of
be
bounce off of.
so fun if we did that one day though. Like
Oh
an
yeah,
actual like
absolutely,
live recap or whatever. That would be fun.
exactly. Angel saying Drew is a straight up manipulator. Well, he do be that.
Hey, Angel, it's good to see you. Miss you. Um, what's good, Francis? Uh, yeah. Shit, I forgot the other. Oh, that's what I was gonna sit there and say. So I've asked you just a couple of times, and I've asked you this in your chat when I go to your chat. And by the way, before I even sit there and forget, I'm going to leave the link to Dion's channel in the description box. So definitely check out Dion. GH After Show. You're going to be doing it tonight, right?
Tonight, yes, 8:30 Mountain Time. So I don't, depending on your time zone, I don't know when you guys. Well, I guess it's like 10:30 your time, Albert.
Yes, it is.
I'm a late night guy, but I think I did that because so many people on Sundays they go like early in the afternoon, and I'm like, You know, let me let them have like let everyone have their own sort of time, and I'll just come in the evening because that's, it gives me the day to kind of finesse my own script as well. So yeah,
It's but it's so cool in a sense though. Like when you think about it, because I always call Sunday the soap block. You
yeah,
have JLJ in the morning, you have dishing days in like the evening around 6 or whatever. Um,
exactly.
I come on, Kyrie's comes on, and then you come on. So it's like, and then at some point, if Nikisha has time, she'll sit there and come on. But it's like a whole day of like people talking soaps. Hell, I think you actually have another woman named Why in our chat with Abby, and that's always on Sundays. So it's like you have so many different options, so many different people, so many different styles. It can be overwhelming when you think about it, but it's like it's good though.
It
It's
is,
good.
it is, because it gives everyone an extra day for soaps when usually the weekends is like our break from it, but Sundays because we're on the verge of going back into the soap week, we can sort of just recap and refresh our memories for the soaps and see what the chat thinks and see what they think is going to happen next, and I like it, and it's always been Sunday, and I feel like that's probably also part of why it's so easy to do it on a Sunday as well for me, because I'm already on that mindset like if I wasn't doing this, I'd be watching everyone, through the whole day if I could, because
Yeah.
I used to. And so, I used to watch James like every Sunday. And so it just makes it easier. And the fact that it's been building, like it makes it even more fun. It's like, well, we're all doing this now. We're all in this together. We're all like soap content creators, so to speak. And it's just a day that it makes sense now. It's like you expect it.
Yeah. It's kind of like how people used to sit there and watch cartoons on Saturday mornings,
Yeah.
except for it's Sunday and you're just watching content creators sit there and talk about soap operas. Now, I ask you these questions a lot of times. If you had to pick another soap to sit there and do an after show, which one would you pick? I feel like the answer always changes. That's why I asked you this.
I mean, it's hard to say for me because like I legitimately don't watch the other soaps. I like I've really tried, this. I've really tried for Beyond the Gates. And I couldn't get into it. And it has nothing to do with the writing. I think the writing was fantastic from what I did watch. 'Cause I think I watched 2 or 3 weeks. And and just the acting, some of the actors, man, it just kind of like ruins it for me. And had and if certain characters were to be recast with perhaps better actors, then I would be all in, I think. But it's just too jarring. So like if I were to pick, it would probably be Beyond the Gates.
Now, I remember I asked you that, I think last time. I think you said your answer was Days of Our Lives, I think. I think you said Days of Our Lives. I'm not too sure, but I think you said Days of Our Lives.
Most likely, and I think the reason why I probably did was because they have a lot of good actors on there, and a lot of them came from GH. And I've always heard good things about Days, and there's people in my chat that were like, "You should really watch it," and I'm like, "I have no time." Okay, I'm like, it was hard enough to put time away for Beyond the Gates, but it was luckily enough that like, I it was intriguing enough to and enjoy the stories and try to get to know who the characters were. But yeah, it just came down to the acting for me on that one. But because Day seems to have a lot of good actors, that would have been why I chose as well. Um, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, it's weird. You have to sit there and find that balance between doing your channel, balancing your life, having a social life, work and everything like that. For me, what I enjoy about doing this whole thing is not just the talking part, but also just the creative part, coming up with different ideas, things to sit there and talk about the chat, things to challenge the chat with, having people sit there and ask me questions, challenge me about things that I didn't sit there and think about. Um, and so when I do these live streams and stuff like that, and people will come out with an interesting idea or an interesting theory, or give me tips or something like that, I put it when I do my reviews. So in a sense, it's like I always like to feel like the chat is interactive in some way. Like helping build the channel, you know.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's why I love doing YouTube in a sense, because it's a team effort with my
It
channel,
really is,
you
yeah.
know. Now I'm not gonna sit there and keep because I know you got other things to do before you get ready to start your live stream and everything like that. Um, so is it anything you want to sit there and say to the fans or anything like that? Like any, you know,
Well, I mean, it's you guys that keeps the shows going, and you guys that keeps it interesting for us. I think, and I see people in the chat that are also in my chats usually. Angel, Kaiwan, I see you guys in there. Yeah, and no, I love it, and I'm glad that you guys tune in every week to us. Um, it's just I always try to do my best to say it, as often as I can, but like I'm truly grateful because it gives me something to kind of focus on a day that's like, kind of could be quiet, but it's nice to have like a project to kind of sit there and be like, hey, I got to talk about this. Or it's nice to kind of watch GH during the week and be like, oh man, I can't wait to talk about this with the chat. Like there's certain things that, you watch and you're like, oh, I wonder what so and so is going to think of this. I wonder what this person's going to have to say about this. And I love kind of building the friendships with the chat that I've gotten to, and I'm sure you feel the same way, Albert, with yours. And it's like, I don't know, it's just it's really fun. It's a lot of fun.
no, it definitely is. When I sit there and say, Nikisha is the Alexis Davis of the chat, it's like there's certain people that have like certain nicknames.
Yeah,
You have like I call myself the Victor Newman of like soap opera content creators because a lot of times I can be kind of a dick. Um, So, it's like everyone, like everyone in my chat, they have certain nicknames, like I call Jess the Diane Jenkins of the chat. That's the character
nice.
from The Young and the Restless. So like everyone has like these little nicknames and like Jonathan, I call him the Michael Baldwin of my chat because like Michael Baldwin and Victor Newman, like that's the guy that always helps Victor out on different things or give him information. And Jonathan has like come through so many times even if I can't pronounce something, he'll sit there and make it where it's like I'm able to pronounce it. So it's like when I sit there and say like it's a team effort, I mean like it's an actual team effort. Obviously it's a
That's
little
true.
joke behind it, but it's still a team effort. So
Yeah. Like my favorite thing with my chat as well is like there are some like true GH historians in there that like know certain things that maybe I might have known or maybe forgot about or just didn't know, and I'm like, "Hey, so you know, there's one guy Rick that hops in the chat sometimes, and especially on like a day where I'm doing like a throwback and watching a classic episode, and he will give me, and there's other people that do this too, but he'll give me like the whole rundown of how the story panned out, who was a part of it, the ties to current GH, and it's just nice. It's like I get to learn more about the show this way too, and I've always done my best to kind of watch a lot of classics even before I had this channel, but like it's nice to have people in the chat that also have been around for, decades worth of GH that can be like, well, back in the 80s or the 70s or the 60s it was like this, and it's really cool. It's really cool.
now Duan says, where do I find you?
You can find me well, my channel is called Deonscorner, so Deonscorner. Um and you can just click on the channel, and for the most part it's GH content, so it's easy to spot. I live stream usually Sundays and Wednesdays, um, always around 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And I'm also in the actual channel itself. I'll make a post usually about an hour before, or if there's something that's coming up, if I'm running later, if I'm doing it earlier, it's always going to be updated on there. Um, so yeah, that's where you can look me up. I do have a GH After Show Instagram. I don't use it that often, but um, but that's just called GH After Show, and yeah, that's really the places you can find me. Dion Gabriel music, if you want to hear like my band and stuff. But yeah, quite a few places.
And just from New York time, like it'll be like 10:30 Pacific. I mean 10:30 Eastern, I think it'd be 10:30 Eastern or 10:30 New York time. So
Yeah,
he usually comes on around like 10:30, 10:30 ish. I sit
Yeah.
there and say ish because there's times I'll sit there and say like, yeah, I'm coming on at like 8:05, and then like 8:09 I start to come on. I'm like shit. But
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm like I say tentatively 8:30, and then I'm like if my thing freezes or like I'm running a little bit late, technical difficulties, whatever, it's like, well, 8:35, you know? Like expect me to be there, and I'm usually like in the chat before I go live as well, just be like, "Hey, I'm coming. Like don't worry, I'm here." Just
yeah.
having some issues. But yeah. Yeah, 8:30 tentatively. I'm the guy you watch before you go to bed on a Sunday.
And you know, Duan, I'm gonna sit there and put his link to his channel in my description box. So just click on there. I'm just gonna put like a random video. That's where you know exactly, you know, his channel, and you can just sit there and subscribe to his channel. Um, yeah, but again, I want to sit there and thank you for joining us. This was fun though. We haven't done this in too long. Let's
Yeah, it
not
was a
make it
long I can't even remember how
another
long
year.
ago
It
that
was
first
last
one
year.
was.
It was last year.
Last year, yeah.
It was last year. So I you know, obviously I know you're busy and I'm doing a bunch of stuff, but you know, we gotta definitely sit there and get together before the end of the year.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
have to do that. So
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll have a day where we'll kind of both hop on each other's live streams. I'll have to figure out how to do that on my end. But
yeah, that's why
but
I
I'm
didn't
glad you
understand
know
why Angel
how,
said
and I'll have to
like,
learn from
yeah.
you.
That's why I said I
Sorry?
didn't understand why Angel said that like you could be on your stream and on my stream, and I could be on I'm doing my stream, but I'm also on your stream. I don't know how it works, but we'll try to figure that out.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
anything, I'll just come on your channel one time, and then you know you can come on mine, and you know just do it like that, just to make things a little more simpler.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
All
Think the
right.
chat is too.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I hope they are. They better be.
Oh yeah.
Um, but anyway, I want to sit there and thank everyone for joining. Thank you, GH After Show, Dion. I do like the name Gabriel. I always want,
Mhm.
if I had kids, I always want to sit there and name one Michael and Gabriel because you know archangels. Um,
Thank my mom for that one.
Nice. Was it because of the archangel thing, or she just like the name Gabriel?
Oh no, this is no like my mom's last name is Gabriel, so I'm just Dion Gabriel.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, all right, but anyway, I want to say thank everyone for joining. This is a lot of fun. Definitely check out GH After Show. I will leave the link to his channel in the description box. Definitely click on that. And he's gonna be live streaming tonight. He's gonna do his recap for the whole week. So definitely check him out and support him. And yeah, we'll see you in our perspectives streams.
Exactly.
Later.
All right, have a good one, guys.